Hi there, this is Love Johar. Thank you so much for watching this video and thank you so much for tuning into this channel. This channel has been created for you so that you can learn about information security, you can learn about compliance, you can learn about cyber security, and the most important part, you can clarify any doubts if you have. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in this channel. I am here to help you. Okay, so in this video we will understand why do we need ITGC controls in place, what is the importance of ITGC for an organization. So those of you who are new to this ITGC domain and you want to understand what are these IT general controls, please stay tuned. This video will actually help you understand the core aspect of ITGC. So information technology, as we all know, it is a core business enabler these days where it helps the business to perform its core activities so that business is enabled by IT. Okay, these days. So there is a clear dependency on IT, and IT has its own risks and challenges. Okay, so even if you go on cloud, your cloud, when your business is operating on cloud, it has its own challenges. So now you need to understand, first of all, what is a control. And before understanding ITGC controls, you need to understand why you need a control. So let's say there is a critical item that you have kept in your house. There is a big uh, big item that you have purchased, and you have kept it in your house. It is very precious for you. It may be gold or anything. So in order to make sure that you safeguard once you leave your home, you put in some controls. For example, you have physical locks in place, you have CCTV cameras, you have burglar alarms, so things like that. These are all safeguards that you put in place. So I'm taking a very simple analogy so that you can understand what are the controls. So similarly, IT general controls are these measures and safeguards that you put in place. Now here the point is different. Here you do it in order to protect the integrity of the data which is processed and stored by the information systems within your organization. Okay, and why it is important? Because these information systems are used to process your company's financial records. You might have heard about general ledger, you might have heard about income statement, you might have heard about balance sheet. So all these transactional records which you have heard about, they rely on data and transactions which are processed and stored in IT systems. Okay, so therefore it is imperative that you understand the controls and you ensure that they are in place to safeguard the integrity of the data which is processed and stored on your IT systems. Okay, now what does an IT environment comprises of? That is another thing that you might be thinking. So IT environment basically comprises of networks, servers, applications, databases. So when you combine all these elements together, that's where you have efficient processing and storage of the data. So now let me give you a brief overview about all the controls one by one so that you can understand the basics. One of the key control domain for consideration in ITGC, first of all, is access control. Now, why is access control important? Is that because the access control addresses the risks that users might have inappropriate access or access rights which are beyond what they need in order to perform their day-to-day job. Okay, so there are two aspects to it. Now what could it turn into? It could turn into easily the improper segregation of duties. Why? Because let's say an employee who has more rights, who has more access, who has, you know, more than what he needs. So here you don't have any defined access controls in place. So here there is a clear case of improper segregation of duties. So now how to control these issues are, you have to have some controls to mitigate the risk. Like you need to have management approvals for gaining any new access or granting the access. Okay. And you have to revoke the access of terminated users in a timely manner, and this has to be done from your domain as well as from the specific financial applications that you are using. For example, if you are using SAP, if you are using Oracle, if you are using any financial ERP application, you have to make sure that the users are getting deleted, getting revoked, getting terminated from those applications as well. This point is very important that I'm telling you right now. So you have to make sure that you do it and you update the access rights. Similarly, you do it for all the transfers. In case any departmental transfer happens, in case of any, you know, uh, users who are switching to a different function or a different department, make sure you update their access as well. Okay. And most importantly, you have to do it as a periodic exercise. Otherwise, after a few months, again, these access issues will keep on cropping. Okay. So similarly, you need to have proper password management, and privilege access should only be restricted to the system administrators only, and that too also should be defined what all needs to be carried out under those privileged access as well. That also has to be maintained somewhere. Okay. So another key domain for ITGC to discuss for me is change management. Okay. Now why change management is important is because change, if unauthorized change is implemented, okay, so it could have a disastrous impact of on your information technology environment. Okay. So you have to ensure that the changes are approved, changes are tested, changes are, before being implemented onto the production, the changes are being, tested properly. And, the development and production environment should be separate altogether. And at no point in time, the developers should be granted access to deploy changes to the production environments. So these are some of the very important controls that I'm telling you. And the mapped risks related to this should be documented as well for the change management. So, and these are some of the key control domains that I have highlighted here. And there are other aspects to ITGC as well. This is only, just the beginning that I have touched upon. So if you want to know more, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. There are different other aspects as well. We have to make sure that the uh, software development life cycle is also done properly. Okay. So we have to make sure that whatever, best we can have in place in order to secure the environment and in order to have proper defense against all the type of threats which are out there, for the financial data especially. Those preventive controls, detective controls, a combination of them, a hybrid approach, defense in depth, whatever you call it, but just make sure that those are in place. That's why ITGC is very important. So as I said, I have briefly touched upon this in this video. If you want to know more, if you have more questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. And moreover, there is a Telegram group that I have created, and hundreds of people have joined that group already. If you are not a part of it, I am adding it into the description. Feel free to add the group and feel free to ask any questions. I would be more than happy to help you there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.